Good morning, gamers. We are back again on this Wednesday morning. Hopefully, you guys are all having a wonderful morning. We are going to be talking about Sony developing some new PS5 earbuds and headset that are going to be coming sometime this year. We're going to be talking about Twisted Metal, a new game, a VR experience coming from Fire Sprite. We've got Microsoft defending their position with the EU, and we're also going to be talking about them releasing a statement about the cannibalization of video game sales because of Game Pass. A Zelda OLED Switch looks like it's also looking more and more likely as a SKU has been revealed through GameStop's store. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Now, quickly, before we jump into all of that greatness, you do me a favor, like, subscribe, share the video, helps the channel a ton. Now, let's kick it off with this exclusive from Tom Henderson and InsiderGaming.com. Insider Gaming sources have revealed that Sony is developing wireless earbuds and a new wireless headset for the PS5, both of which are scheduled to release towards the end of fiscal year 23, meaning April 2023 to March 2024. The earbuds, named Project Nomad, will have an approximate battery life of around 5 hours, which is almost identical to Apple's AirPods, but slightly less than Sony's WF-1000 at XM3's 6-hour battery life. The Nomad will come with a charging case that can be charged via a USB-C cable to the PlayStation 5. In addition, the same connection method will be used for the wireless earbuds updates on the PS5. Sources have also said that the company is developing a new wireless headset for the PS5 named Voyager, and it is also aiming to be released at a similar time to the Nomad. It's understood that the Nomad headset has similar functionality to the InZone H7 headset, but its price point is yet to be determined. So it looks like Sony is going to launch some more accessories. And honestly, I think that's a great thing. I love when they do that kind of thing. You know, if they can upgrade what we have or make more available, that's always a good thing to me. I love earbuds. I think the over-the-head headsets can be a little bit too much sometimes. And sometimes you want something a little bit lighter and a little bit easier, especially if you're a glasses wearer. Yeah, earbuds are always going to win for comfort over the over-the-top headset, like over-the-head headset, obviously. So it's definitely a positive thing to me. It is interesting, and Tom does state it here as well, that they do plan on dropping a new PS5 revision in September of 2023, and they also have these products coming soon as well within that time frame. So it's looking like it could be a relaunch of the PS5, which is all right as well, depending on how they go about this. The detachable disk drive situation is interesting as well. I think that it could prove to be useful to release a SKU that you can get a disk drive for down the road or get one right away. I think that would be very useful, as well as probably making it a little bit more affordable. If at the time, you don't have the money to shell out for the one with the disk drive, you can always go with the one without it and then buy that later down the road. But yeah, a lot of good news here. I think it's always good to see new products come from Sony, especially because they do such a great job with sound. And obviously we know their cameras are great, and that's a whole other story. But yeah, sound, they do a really good job with headphones. So really happy to hear that they're going to be looking into more of that and possibly releasing more. And this is technically, I guess, rumor territory, but Tom Henderson, super reliable and proven in the past. Now, next, we are talking about Fire Sprite and Twisted Metal. A thread on Reset Era has compiled a bunch of details supporting the idea that Fire Sprite is working on Twisted Metal. It says there's a job listing that calls for a principal physics programmer to join development of a new AAA Unreal 5 multiplayer action game. It also mentions experience developing gameplay for VR being useful, and it says that the project will blend gameplay mechanics and deeply embedding storytelling elements into a unique universe. Another job listing for a multiplayer game that calls for a principal designer, again mentioning a AAA Unreal 5 multiplayer action game, and it describes blending genre-transcending gameplay mechanics around vehicular and on-foot combat, which is where this entire notion is that this would be a Twisted Metal game. Now, it is very interesting and very plausible that this could be the case. We know that the TV show has been heavily speculated and hinted at by Sony that there is some TV show that's coming. I mean, at least based on the one tweet that we talked about not long ago where they were talking about it, and obviously very vaguely, and they had the clown and the flames. Like it was clearly alluding to Sweet Tooth. That's the name of the clown. They also talk about it in a job posting, having knowledge of a range of game services such as Steam and PSN backends, which has led people to believe that maybe this is going to be a day and date with PC type of deal. If it is a games as a service, I imagine that yes, it's going to be a PC day and date for a release. It just makes sense, especially with all the kind of drama that we've been having around games as a services falling apart and shutting down. I think Sony's going to want to make sure that these games are available in as many places as possible. But yeah, this is why people are thinking that this is likely Twisted Metal, and it's looking like, if it is, the VR experience as well attached to a multiplayer experience. So really excited to see what happens here. Curious if they will do a PC day and date release if that is the case. Now, next we are talking about Microsoft defending the Activision deal at the EU hearing on February 21st. Microsoft is expected to offer remedies after the hearing. Obviously, we know about the complaints. We've been covering this all along. That, the EU is not convinced. They feel that there is a lot of problems with this acquisition, and it's Microsoft's job to reassure them, I guess, and we'll see if they are successful at doing that. This looks like it's their last attempt at convincing them, and I think that they're going to have to really, really compromise and find a way to convince them, and that probably means that Call of Duty will indefinitely be on PlayStation, at least from my assumption and my speculation. Mind you, that's not set in stone just yet, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what the results are. But it's looking really interesting as we continue this story and the story progresses. And I know that a lot of people feel a type of way about this topic, but I love discussing it because at this point, we're getting just at the end. We're getting close. We're getting close to where we need a decision. And I think once that closes, there's going to be a lot of discussions had depending on what the result is. But yes, February 21st, they will be responding. So looking forward to seeing what they say. Next, we're talking about Microsoft's response to the whole Game Pass cannibalizing game sales. And they responded to Kotaku, and they said in quotes, "We're focused on helping game creators of all sizes maximize the total financial value they receive through Game Pass. Each game is unique, so we work closely with creators to build a custom program to reflect what they need, ensure they are compensated financially for their participation in the service, and allow room for creativity and innovation." And this is a non-answer. Once again, Microsoft not answering I want to say accusations, but really it's court documents and stuff, just documents in general coming officially from them. So it kind of revealed the truth. It doesn't matter whether they address it properly or not. We know the truth at this point, which should, again, not surprise anybody. Yes, 100%. Yeah, if you can get something on Game Pass for $10, why would you buy the full game? For most people, that is. So this is them giving a non-answer. Basically, they're like, hey, we're not going to deny that it's true, but instead what we're going to say is that we compensate them well and adequately to make sure that they are in a good financial place. So what they're saying is, no, it's not untrue. They definitely don't sell as many copies because their game is on Game Pass, but we pay them basically to put it on Game Pass. That's basically all this is saying to me. They definitely aren't going to address it and be like, yeah, it's not selling as much if it's definitely on Game Pass. Like, it's just not going to sell. They just wouldn't do that. That's just bad PR. They're never going to address those things like that. They're going to word it in a way that makes them sound like, in a more positive light, right? Like saying, hey, they're financially, compensated for their work. And yeah, make sure that they're comfortable, that there's no limits on them creatively, and they're allowed to innovate and all, right? They're going to fancy it up, sprinkle it up, spruce it up a little bit, make sure people are feeling very optimistic about what they're doing. But of course, yeah, at the end of the day, game sales are going to decrease if your game is on Game Pass. Fact. No question about it anymore. And really, there's no way to argue this anymore. So I'm glad that's out of the way, because I remember talking about this before, man, way back. I got a lot of people saying, well, I buy games on Game Pass, and that's fantastic that you buy games on Game Pass. But guess what? Majority of people are not, and that was my point. And clearly that has come to light as the case. Again, they do compensate. I'm sure they pay the people that are putting their games up there, and that's fine, but we can't avoid or kind of like hide the facts. The facts are the facts. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about that topic. That was their response. Now, lastly, we are going to be talking about the Zelda OLED Switch. We've talked about this quite a bit, and it looks like retail stores have a new SKU for the Switch console. that is coming out on March 10th in their database. This could mean that this new Switch version will be the leaked OLED model. So the one that I showed pictures of the last time. It's not a fact. It's just speculation with a little bit of, I want to say, evidence to support it. And there is an image here as well. The available SKU 3.10 Switch, and it is there. I mean, that's really it. That's the one right there. Whether that's the case or not, we don't know. There was a comment from somebody that said, you know, sometimes things do change, even if they are uploaded to the GameStop database. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be something that's going to be there. But I would believe that this likely does support it a little more. I think it does allow a little more room for us to believe that, yes, there is an OLED Switch. If it was still a question, which I really don't think it was a question. I think at this point, we all are on the same page that, yes, there's an OLED Switch coming, and I think that's a great thing. But that is our daily roundup for today. Those are the biggest topics that happened yesterday. Definitely there were some other smaller things, but nothing that I felt were noteworthy to discuss here. If there was something that you found really interesting you want to talk about, you can always let me know in the comments. Otherwise, let me know what you guys think of these new headsets and earbuds that Sony is developing. How do you feel about Firesprite Studios working on Twisted Metal, a VR experience, maybe a PC day and date release? How do you feel about Microsoft finally responding to the EU, probably the last attempt? And the response in terms of the Game Pass cannibalizing sales. You think that maybe that was a little not direct enough, or do you feel they did their job there? And lastly, do you think the Zelda OLED Switch is going to happen? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you have not subscribed already, please subscribe, like, comment, share the video. Helps the channel a ton. You can always follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description. I've also started a new channel, just gameplay, having fun. It's just a lot of fun. No news, nothing over there. I'll leave it linked in the description, and I'll also leave it in the comments if you want to go check it out. Thank you all for watching. I will talk to you all in the next one. Take care.